Hi, and welcome to another Origins of Expressions, where today we're going to explore the origins and meanings of the phrases even Steven, Jack of all trades, any Tom, Dick, or Harry. What do they all have in common? They're all phrases and idioms around names. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Names have been around for a long time, since before written history. Names started out, from what scholars can tell, as descriptive names, items and objects of the time that were around and sounded pleasing. As time moves on, our names change and adapt. However, we still see names being words that are pleasing to hear and some names being items and words from our daily lives. As we convert these words into names, idioms arise, sometimes because of the name and sometimes on what the word meant before it was a name. Let's look at some examples as we move right into our first phrase. Even Steven. Even Steven is a term used for a person who always breaks even. They lose $20 and somehow find $20 in their pocket later that day. Well, there's an even Steven. Steven is written in the Dictionary of Slang and Colloquial English by John Stevens Farmer and William Ernest Henley as a term used for money. So even Steven, spelt with a lowercase s because it is not a name, and it is hyphenated, means not being owed anything or owing anything. A mutual beneficial trade, an even match. Even Steven has been around for a while, with the first written record being in 1766 in Jonathan Swift's Journal to Stella. It read, "Now we are even, quote, Stephen, when he gave his wife 6 blows to 1." Back when this was written, it was done so due to the rhyming nature. It was considered a rhyming slang. Swift wrote about his life in London and turned them into poems. He used words that worked together. We use even Steven today in the same way to proclaim that nothing is owed or everything is even. An example sentence is, "Here's a $10 that I owe you. Now we are even Steven." Now that debt is paid up, let's go ahead and move into our next name idiom. Jack of all trades. A jack of all trades is a person, usually a man, who is handy at doing many things. Like the last phrase, Jack in this idiom is not talking about a real person. The word Jack was considered a common name and used for any common man. The name Jack was also added to many objects and trades, like lumberjack, steeplejack, jack tars. Some objects were smoke jack, jack plane, jack screw, jack frame, boot jack, jack engine, and jack file. The first written record where Jack is used as a common man's name was in John Gower's Middle English Poems in 1390. It read, "There while he hath his full pack, they see a good fellow is Jack." As time went on, we have turned Jack of trade into a derogatory term by saying, "Jack of all trade, master of none." This was stating that the person was stretching their talents too thin. In 1677, the headmaster of a Charterhouse school, Martin Clifford, in a collection of notes on the poems of Dryden, wrote, "Your writings are like a jack of all trades shop. They have variety, but nothing of value." Yikes! Maybe Jack should have stuck with one trade. Today, we still use jack of all trades to determine a person who is skilled at many things. An example sentence is, "I am glad my husband is a jack of all trades. It saved us a lot of money when we fixed up the house." Now that those repairs are all done, we can move into our last phrase. Any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Any Tom, Dick, or Harry is a phrase that is used when you need a generic placeholder for names of people who you don't know yet. The name Tom, Dick, and Harry were just common names of the time and used to signify anyone. The name can also change, as we see in Shakespeare's Henry IV, Act 1 in 1597, Tom, Dick, and Francis. We also see it being used in 1657 by John Owens, an English theologian, stating, "Our critical situation and our common interests were discussed out of journals and newspapers by every Tom, Dick, and Harry." It looks like gossip was a problem way back in the 1600s also. Today, we still use any Tom, Dick, or Harry as a placeholder when talking about unknown people. An example sentence is, "Make sure you put out extra chairs. I'm not sure who will show up. It could be any Tom, Dick, or Harry." Thinking about this phrase now and how times and names have changed, what names would you replace these with today? Are there 3 common names you hear all the time? I would love to see what you have come up with in the comments below. Mine would be any Matt, Mike, or Ashley. Ooh, fun fact. Did you know in the United States there are 4,746 people registered with the same first and last name where they match? Wow. The most common was Thomas, followed by James. And the most common female names, where both the first and last names match, was Rose, followed by Ruth. Crazy. Well, that is all the info on names that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe so that you know when new videos will come out. There's so much more coming. Also, before you go, do you know any name idioms? Maybe you know other idioms that you want to share on a completely different subject. Leave them in the comments below. If I use one of the idioms you leave in the comments, I'll give you a shout out in that video. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Until next time, bye.